Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23. Today is a very special video because I'm joined in the metaphorical commentary booth with my good friend, the MotoGP eSport champion and DrAce British Superbike champion, Jack Hammer. Hello dude, and welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me.
So today's plan is I'm going to pick your brains about lap times here in Portimao on board the excellent RC16, the KTM to all the fans of course. So the idea is I'm going to just do a couple of laps here in Portimao, and I want you to point out some of the downfalls I may have as a player and compare it to your eSport lap times. I'm going to take over the first two sectors, and then Jack Hammer is going to take over the rest. So for me, a couple of pointers to make have been reducing down the TCS. Anti-wheelie is quite high. I did notice that Jack Hammer doesn't run the same anti-wheelie as I do probably because he's got better control, maybe, but I just don't think I have the same confidence going into these couple of corners. But Jack, take me through the last two sectors here in Portimao.
So you're coming just out of Craig Jones' corner into turn 10 and 11. You've taken a nice line here, just missing the curb. You've taken exit quite tight for turn 12. You've run the curve there, which is really risky, and that in turn has made you go really well at turn 13 as well. But I think one of the biggest mistakes you've made is the fact you're running medium, because the medium front especially isn't the greatest tyre in my opinion. You want either a hard or a soft, and given the stability you need a hard front, and you've done the hairpin okay, you've done the gulp corner, you've done that fairly well actually. Really nice, over the crest, avoid the curve on the left hand side, which you've done, down the home straight, and 137.1, hard braking down the hill into turn 1, you ran quite wide here in your first lap, taking it a lot better this time, right on the curb, nice and tight, through turn 2, in third gear, not second, and hopefully you don't go into first gear through the hairpin, which I've done many times in these videos, which you haven't, and then through turn 3, which you can take that kind of line, or you take a more tighter line on entry, but the anti-wheelie 4, that's definitely a setting you can use, but I use 3 just because that's what my base setting is. Through the Tour VIP, taking it tight entry really wide, come back for a late, well not late apex at all, but not the greatest exits, but you had the right idea. Filing through into turn 6 and 7, avoiding all the bumps, through turn 8 with the front end, goes really red as you can see on the marker there, as well as your rear brake, which is good. Over the crest here, try not to wheel too much through Craig Jones. Nice corner speed. Now you've taken a very wider line, which probably from the lack of confidence you've discovered in the career mode you did a couple of months ago. Down the hill through turn 12, you're improving by 0.2 of a second. Much better braking because you're having it the curb on turn 12 this time. Nice and tight through turn 13. Front end just twitched a little bit into turn 14. Nice and tight, really wide the mid corner, which is okay. You don't want to be focusing on the really lighter line as you can see on the circuit. Coming up to the final corner now, fast entry third gear, I prefer fourth as you'll see in a moment, but you've found half a second and, well, 0.3 that last sector just by nailing the turn 13, over the crest, a tiny bit of wheeling across the line, even a 36.5, so good improvement.
I'll take that, that's not too bad. So we're going to move on now to a different style of video, Jack Hammer's superstitious approach to the quality of the video, but doesn't make him slow, it makes him faster, so I might have to incorporate that in my own content. But a few pointers I just watched and heard from your fantastic dulcet tones, Jack, about how to improve, and those little pieces of knowledge you've given me there is inspiring me to take a look at yours now with so much more attention to detail. It's so much quicker going into the Primera corner for turn 1, but here you said third gear all the way down to second, but not to first. Of course, as you know, many of the aces do not like my consistent dropping down to first gear, but there's a couple of points to this corners and track that I'm just really keeping a keen eye on. Oh, look at that slide going into the Tour VIP. That's confidence. But that very unique line coming back in, because I was listening to the points where you were saying we're going for wider apexes, tighter lines, and then angling it in a certain way. Now into the right hander, I made a mess of this on the Samsung corner. Way more controlled on the hard front. Might have to try the hard front myself, but Jack, this final part, I heard what you said. For me, I'm watching it now. Look at the speed, look at the confidence going into those final corners. Jack, What's the secret, mate? How do you tackle turn 10 and 11, 12 and 13 with such precision?
It's just confidence, really. If you got faith in the front end, you can push it really hard and just ride through it. You've got loads of bumps up and downs, but if you've got the feeling, you can just ride across a wave, as you so to speak, because you're going up and down so many times. If we go on the curb there, don't be doing that. But luckily saved it using higher gears in some areas compared to what you do. I think that's just naturally how you are and how I am. But over the line, I think I did 134.7, yeah. Going down into turn 1, it's full attack. I'm a lot more aggressive, a lot later on the brakes. Probably just a little more efficient than everywhere. Through turn 1, not the greatest of entries, but I've only lost it a tenth and a half. Into turn 3, really tight. I really wish I could tell the difference in miles an hour because I run kilometers compared to your MPH. Now, coming down to Tour VIP, you want to try and... I keep the front end a lot more than you do, and then sliding it into turn 5. I've just locked up the rear ever so slightly. Just shifting down a bit too much, braking a bit too late, running really wide, but I've got a good exit. That has stuffed my turn 6 though, but going over the bumps, I'm just keeping that front end planted as much as possible.
So it's a question for you. Does it look as fast as for you, like compared to when I look at it and the viewers are watching now, probably all with their mouth open in awe of the sheer speed you're tackling this track? Because I thought my lap time looks relatively quick, but you can see the confidence with the rider, and I think as myself, as someone who's pretty good at the game, I'm decent, but I'm still learning, and I'd love to know how you have so much confidence to be so damn quick in this game. Any secrets that we need to know?
All I can think of is just play the game, and when looking at it, if we did side by side through the longer corners, I don't think you can tell like much how it's in like the tighter corners where, especially like the points of braking and the points of acceleration, it's just a huge difference. You'll be able to tell, especially in turn 1, like how I'll full attack down to third gear really instantly, whereas you are. It's just ever so slightly, like if you did side by side comparison, I'm sure you'd be able to see the difference. But if they turn 1, then that was definitely your best sector 1, and your 10th up, 10th and a half up, now 2 tenths. And there you go, 1.5 tenths found just by tackling the first 2 corners with a lot more aggression. And now you just struggle here with the wheelie out of turn 3 into turn 4 into turn 5 now, taking that a lot tighter, and you'll see the delta goes up, and all these small different things just add up. And as well as you've got the harder front now, and that's probably a reason why you can attack these corners a lot more, because the harder construction means it's got more stability, which means you can brake harder, and you have less side grip. But as Portimao, you don't need side grip, you just need braking stability over all these bumps and ups and downs. Go through turn 9 and 10, I can just tell your line compared to mine is different. Out of turn 9, I'm all the way to the right hand side, then I'm taking it like a loop, whereas you are taking it a lot more tighter on exit, and then you're opening out the corner, which sounds natural, but it means you're not squaring off turn 11, so you're losing time there, and it all adds up down to turn 12 to 13.
So the advice being that you would get on the power earlier, or would you get on the power a little bit later, as long as you provide the decent line going into there?
It generally depends on each corner, but obviously the earlier you can get on the power in an efficient way, where you're going to be constantly accelerating, you don't have to take the gas off at any point, is the best time to accelerate. So the moment you know you can forever accelerate, that's the moment you want to do it. That's the line from Jackie Stewart. So you got to take plus listen to all the pundits from any motorsport, and generally they'll give you tips. Yeah, just kissing the inside curve there. You're not really doing any of that around here. You can gain time by doing that, but it's like very risky, and I can just tell you the way you brake, you're very much inline braking. You're not out. You're not very like car crack on markers. You're not sideways. Where I for some strange reason I just can't help but love back in the rear end to all the corners. I don't know why, I just do, and I can tell you rear end your front end tucked and the rear end followed. And it's just, I'd say most of the time you can lose at Portimao. That actually it is your entry, but also how much you wheelie, because your bike, if you're not riding the way to reduce the wheelie, then you can lose time that way. Compared to me, through turn 11 and 12, just because you're not doing the right line, you're having to take off acceleration, and you're taking the corner tires to see that taking less speed, and that's costing you a few tenths of a second.
That's very fascinating, it really is, because as you're saying that, I can see it, and as I'm watching this back and comparing it a moment ago, because at this point, obviously, we will see comparisons on the video, but when me and Jack are doing it live, it's not as quite as easy, but I can understand and I can see the points you're making. So as we go back over now to yours, I can tell what you're trying to say. In those corners where the setup, as in the production for the corner, so when you're preparing to go into a corner, because motorcycle racing is not just about taking one corner at a time, it's actually setting up for many corners in advance. So what you're saying there is bang on. Turn 9, turn 10 ideally is a perfect point, because I've already messed one corner up, or I've not timed it right, so going into the next couple I'm on the back foot, and hence why I'm making mistakes, and with my gentle style of braking doesn't seem to favour it compared to yours, where, as you mentioned, the Marquez style, the Sam Lowe style of getting the rear tyre out is clearly what works best for you, but for me, I don't know whether it would work. So for you, as the eSport champion and DrAce British Speed Superbike Championship winner, do you feel there is a correct way to brake or not? Would you advise the sliding, or would you advise more of a gentle approach?
I think it doesn't matter how you brake, as long as it's the most efficient way for you, and I prefer backing it in, you prefer in line. There's no right or wrong way in braking, it's just whatever's the most efficient way at the time. Or for the game, each game will be different. So for example, 2019, that was just all inline braking. For this game, it's all, well, for me anyway, it's backing it in, but for other people it might actually be inline braking or trail braking. It's still, everyone has their different preferences in terms of braking style, so I don't think there's a particularly right way of doing it, it's just how you like to do it, and we have different styles. There's no wrong way, but I think as long as you can maximise the way you prefer to do it, that's all you can do.
I like that very much. It's a diplomatic answer, but I like it a lot, and I think my style is, as you say, I've never actually noticed it comparing until now. I find myself to be very gentle, I'm very relaxed, I'm very calm with the bike, but even though you're sliding the motorcycle and the rear tyre is kicking out, you're still very much at harmony with the KTM, and I think that's what's most impressive about the footage that I'm watching now. So for the final bit before we get on to the final parts of today's video, would you have any sort of finer details or points for players to work on for the improvement of this fantastic game?
Just work on yourself foremost. Don't think that setup, like bike setup, is the way to go. You can find as much time in yourself as bike setup, and then just focus. If there's a certain sector you're losing out to somebody, just study that sector, study why you're going wrong, and just figure out the puzzle yourself. And if not, just follow a ghost, see what a ghost is doing, try and emulate them and copy them, and then see if you can put that to practice by yourself, and then keep going step by step and doing the best job you possibly can.
I love that, because I get so many questions about setups a lot, and that answers my questions. And before anyone asked, I didn't prompt Jack to say that, but on the screen right now is Jack Hammer's 6 lap times, and as you can see, very consistent, very fast, and almost with barely any difference amongst those lap times. Really fantastic laps there. Would you say you're happy with those laps, or do you reckon that's beneath your potential?
I can definitely go faster, but in terms of those laps, I'm very happy. That's
a good enough answer for me. Now here's my lap times on screen, but before we do conclude today's video, I would like to just include some extra clips towards the end of the videos, because I've got a couple of questions for Jack, and I think some of these questions are going to be very important for the viewers watching at home. And before we do conclude the video, I must recommend you head over to Jack Hammer's Instagram channel and give him a follow on there. Alternatively, YouTube, because you never know, you might start doing content again someday. But Jack, a couple of questions for you, my good man. So first and foremost, Jack, I would very much like to ask you about the preparation that you have as an esports player, because a lot of us, we just pick up the game, we have a bit of fun, we join the Ace Academy Cups, we race together, we have fun, but to get to that next level, how does one become that much better? What sort of preparation goes in? How many hours a week do you have to spend playing the game, and what do you have to change to become such a important figure amongst the esports scene?
First off, you have to play the game every day, more or less. Averaging around about 3 hours is what I did this year, or last year I should say. And it's simply just going round in circles. It can be boring, but you just got to keep doing the same tracks over and over and over again, making setup changes, knowing when to do them and knowing what to do. You gotta learn the game inside out. You gotta learn the bike inside out. You gotta learn everything inside out, and you just gotta be patient, give everything time. Try not to give yourself expectations, because that's when things can easily go very wrong. And just, most important of all, try and keep that fun element of things, keep enjoying playing the game, because the moment you don't play the game, you're not going to want to play it, and when that happens, you're never going to generate lap time. So you got to just try and make it fun. If it's not fun anymore, go away, have a break. Day break, 2-day break, a week break, just do whatever.
So regarding what we discussed earlier, I think we touched base upon what we have actually discussed. How many lap times would you say you do for a single track in preparation for a race weekend?
Changes from track to track, on track length, how long it takes to get acclimatised.
If you were to give a rough answer.
270-ish?
That's a rather specific number, but that's a lot. That is a hell of a lot of laps to conclude in one race weekend, but that just shows the dedication. But before we get on to the final stage of today's video, I would like to ask you a question. Would you be welcomed, well of course you're welcomed, but would you want to come back and do another video with me and for the subscribers?
Of course. Whatever video it is, whatever the topic is, I'd love to come back.
I love that answer. Well, the next one, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, of course, let me know in the comment section down below, and be sure to subscribe as well, because you're already going down there to make a comment. Why not? I would like to introduce you, or in fact no, and welcome you back to the next episode, where we, myself and Jackhammer, the esports champion, take a look at wet weather riding. I think that's a key point where we all need to improve upon, and who else better to learn from me and Jack Hammer. So Jack, before we finish, any comments to make and anything else you would like to discuss before we come to the conclusion of today's video?
I guess the only thing I can think of is the fact that at some point in the future, I hope to be announcing the number I'll be using for next season's eSports Championship, providing I qualify obviously, but I have made my mind up, and I will be trying to, as possible, hype it up and give hints at what the number could be, whether it's 67 or the number 1. But you have to stay tuned on which number I'll pick, because only I know at the moment, and I'm happy with my choice, but you have to keep posted to find out which number I should be running, assuming I'm racing this season, which I hope to be. And yeah, just stay tuned. You can never be too sure, but I'd like to say 95% sure I'll be on the grid, but you never know. But stay tuned to what my number should be for this season.
Sounds great. I am personally hoping you run the number 1, but at the same time I'm torn, because I do feel that your number is your brand, and 67 is indeed Jack Hammer. So I will be very much eager to find out. I'm actually going to still keep on pressing you in messages to find the answer, but I know you're pretty tight-lipped, so we'll see what happens in the future. But Jack, thanks a lot for coming today. Thanks for joining me in today's video. I do really appreciate it. And yeah, from me and from Jack, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.